This video is not suitable for viewers under the age of 13 and may contain foul languages. Viewer's description is advised.
How's it going, my timeless viewers? It is I, Miky, the timeless CyberKnight, back with another Transformers review, and this time we're gonna take a look at something that is really anticipated figure that I waited so long, Tarn, from Transformers Legacy Evolution. And here we have him in a sort of a flower setting. Since, let's be honest, I want to test out the overall video with different effects, so, well, let's hope that this is going to go smoothly. But before we're gonna take a look at the overall figures, let's take a look at this plastic-free box with a nice artwork and rendering of Tarn in his alt mode, and of course here we have Tarn just blasting through enemies with his opposing mask, and of course plastic-free packaging, like it hasn't stopped people to steal some heads from them. Great job, Hasbro. Anyways, here we have the overall text, the overall artwork with other, like the Junkions, Hotshot, Laser Prime, and the rest that's literally breaking in from different Transformers multiverse. And here we have the Evolution. I really need to get this DVD out of my sight. It's really annoying me. Yeah. Comic Universe Tarn. Anyway, let's chuck this box out of the way and let's take a look at this figure. And let me just say, the overall painting and sculpt in this extraordinary character is fascinating. It's pretty awesome. Let's just say that the overall surface area and the amount of detail on Tarn is just immaculate. It just reeks Tarn. That's all I have to say. And before you're gonna ask, well, I have not read the comics, but I have indeed read some of the bios and have seen some video clips of the overall comic dubs and such about Tarn and how he was pretty much created. Literally, Tarn eventually was pretty much, if I remember correctly, was literally created by Megatron, and he was literally, well, a creation that, or pretty much a lawyer servant that literally is from a group called Decepticon Justice Division, where any Decepticons that oppose or literally break the overall Decepticon cause, these guys will literally just, well, mess them up. And I love it for that. But my information may be a little bit wrong, but then again, I haven't read the comics in a long time, and but I do know about the overall team and how messed up they can literally cause. And boy, is it interesting. First things first, we're gonna take a look at the overall face sculpt of Tarn, which sadly it isn't removable, but the overall detail and the overall painting that is went through this thing is just, oh, it just reeks awesome. And of course we have the surface area, the overall paint, the Decepticon logo attached to it, and then we have the overall, the transparent purple plastic literally put into it, which really reeks the overall legacy toy line. And of course all the surface area is so damn clean. I mean, when you see a regular toy Transformers figure, it is literally gappy, but somehow, some way, they literally find a way to literally cover all the gaps that they can muster. But of course we have some gaps such as the arms like here, and of course some of the back heels, which of course is gappy, but it doesn't bother me in the least. And so far, and of course let's not forget about the overall fusion cannon, the dual fusion cannon that you can literally, well, as the overall text back explain, you can literally fuse them together to make a fusion cannon. or a handheld gun. And you're seeing this correctly, but he has opening hands. Oh my god. This is what the reason why I love these sort of newer modern Transformers figures. They actually hashtag literally went their ass to literally give us opening hands for newer Transformers figures. At least some, not all of them. Some are literally just regular fist pump or literally open hands with no articulation. But for Tarn and something like the leader class Optimus Prime from Earthrise, and then Rodimus Prime, and then some other characters like Metroplex, even though he's a Titan, and G-Axis. It's just extraordinary. But let's get to the overall negative of this figure, which you don't may see it, but before that the overall quality, overall feel of this figure may be nice now, but before when I open it, let's just say the biceps and the overall joints of this figure were, oh boy. Let's hope that the quality control guy was fired and they replaced with a new one, because my goodness, if he was in charge to literally, if he was actually the charge of testing the quality control of this guy, this explains why it was so damn loose. But if you ever had a figure that is a bit tight, let me suggest one thing. You can have literally just to tighten up the joints, which Jobby has, like joint comb, they literally call it. But you can also add something like super glue that I literally use Loctite super glue, which I usually you dipped a little bit and then I moved around the joints just to get a little bit more tightness. Tightening. But I do not recommend, I only recommend for those who are professionals. If you are very passionate or something like that, if you don't know how to literally tighten up the joints, don't use super glue. Use other joint tightness liquids and not super glue. Only use super glue if you are a professional. If you're not, then don't use super glue. That's my QA. That's literally my overall statement. Either way, the overall articulation right now is pretty nice. I mean, let's also talk about the overall backpack, which is pretty clean, surprisingly. And of course, there's a peg that you can literally, well, if it didn't fall off, but you can literally place it with a stand of your options, which I use a Bandai Terminator Act 4 stand, which you can pretty much plug it in. And now he can literally blast him away to literally catch up a ship or something like that. Oh yeah, did I also mention he was a kind of splooge compatible? You can literally use these ones, like got literally these blast effects. You can literally plug it onto them, and boom, here you go. Fuck. Well, aside from that stab, which is a little bit wobbly, but you with the effects on, it looks badass. Hold on. Yep. Needed to remove Messenger from my phone, but yeah, with blast effects, it looks awesome. But that's enough for blast effects. Let's take a look at the overall articulation, shall we? So first things first, the head is on a ball joint, which is pretty neat. He can look up that far, and with the overall transformation joint, you can look down that far. And of course, the shoulders is on a hinge, which go 90 degrees. He can go 360, and of course the back is literally on a mushroom peg, which can swivel around. The joint here is on a hinge, but it's more for the transformation, which is also a part of, literally part of the overall articulation. But he has a bicep rotation, aka bicep swivel, can go a minimum of over 95 degrees. And of course, he has a wrist swivel, and of course, hinged hands. As for the overall cannon, which is more for the transformation, but these cannons can literally rotate up and down. And of course, he has a swivel at the waist. Here's also really interesting with these hips. These hips can go forward that far and back that far. And of course, he can do a beautiful spread, but here's also something that you should be cautious if you're gonna tighten up the joint, is that these are also independently rotatable. Yeah, these crush panels. These are on different different piece. So that's a pretty neat engineering of Hasbro part, and I kind of made these hip joint a little bit too tight. That's on me. But anyway, you can also get a over 90-degree bend of knee, but you can go maximum if you go untapping the overall transmission joint, and boom, maximum knees. Oh, and of course you get a pivot and up and down. Oh yeah, did I mention that his articulation is absolutely amazing? Like, my god, I have never experienced joy with articulation that much, aside from a third-party figure. But man, is it a joy to handle a mainline figure like him. Speaking of which, let's go to overall size comparison. Compare with a can of cider. Size comparison next to Final World's Godzilla, SH Monster Arts, Snail Shell Studio Milk Girl, Figma Doomslayer, and of course Nendoroid Mamako in a bunny girl suit. Don't ask, it's literally Year of the Bunny. Here he is next to Galvatron, aka his the one he really is loyal to. And last but not least, Eris Culture, aka his fangirl, aka the one that she's literally inspired of, and really kind of a partner. I bet you that these two can literally kill you with their speeches. They can talk you to death, and they will fit as pretty much a perfect couple. Anyway, without that bullshit aside, let's go ahead and transform this guy real quick, shall we? So let's hit that music, which does not belong to Jobby. He stated it, so I'm free to use it. Things first, we need to remove the overall cannon. Then what we're gonna do next is literally rotate the overall blasters here so they pick in. Later on, we're gonna untap the overall back section. What we're gonna do next is also untap the chest panel, and then we're gonna extend the treads. And while we do that, we need to literally hinge out this panel right here, and then we need to rotate the treads like so. Swivel back the head so it will fit in like so. And while you also follow off the treads, you need to rotate the overall panel here so it will then lock into place and don't clash into each other. Then you need to rotate the overall cannon, and then you need to plug it in like so. Next thing, you need to connect the legs like so, hinge up the feet, untap the legs, and then you need to literally rest them like so, because now we're gonna move forward to the treads like so. Rotate the bicep, and then you need to rotate the overall fist like so. Unhinge the panel so it goes here, and while you do that, you need to connect these tabs into these slots right here so it will plug into place. Hold on, like so. Same with the other arm. Next thing, you need to flip out the treads like so. Well, you need to flip them out, and then while you do that, you need to hinge in the treads, which this tab is gonna slot into this peg right, which this peg is gonna slot into this hole. But you need to be cautious, so you don't break anything. Same goes to the other arm. And then once you're done, you just tap the overall panels here, just to secure the place. Once you're done that, you're gonna take the legs, and then it's gonna port into those tabs, so it will lock into place like so. Boom. And once you've done that, now we're gonna take the overall cannon, which is in place, but you need to rotate it, which is on a ratchet, a soft ratchet at least. And then you're gonna take these pegs right here that is gonna plug into with the legs, just to secure the cannons, like so. And here we have his Cybertronian tank mode in all its glory. And I'm gonna say, I do love the look of the Cybertronian tank. It fits solidly. And of course, the overall detail of this is just, it's just Reek's badassness. And of course, the back, which isn't the prettiest, but hey, I love it. Even though it does have some kibble of the hands that is just resting there for obvious reasons. And of course, with all the the overall transformation is pretty smooth and easy and kind of fun. But some may not have the same experience as I have. But hey, say la vie, it's you, it's your opinion. And my thoughts is like, I really have a fun time with it. And of course, the articulation is just a swivel here, and of course, it can go up and down. Maybe not that much up due to the clearance issue, but you can literally use these siege blast effects just to arm up him, and then he just can blues you out of existence. And these also compatible with the smaller ones, so you can literally arm him up with blast effects parts. What am I saying? I meant blast effect parts. The one problem though is that while it's pretty neat weapon storage, it does tend to plug off on tab real easily if you are not careful. And of course, the undercarriage is, well, so damn visible and not cohesive, but it's not a deal breaker. Anyway, size comparison. Mamako, Usagi, yes. Godzilla, Milk Tea Girl, Doomslayer, Galvatron, and last but not leastly, Ares Coulter. You better be fucking thankful that I actually transformed this one for you, you goddamn bastards. So yeah, that was Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager class comic universe Tarn. And boy was he an absolutely astonishing figure nonetheless. And I highly recommend you to pick him up if you actually find him, because when I tried to look him up for him, he was pretty much sold out where I live, and the only one store I actually found him was Eurotoys, but I'm pretty much sure that you can find him in Big Bad Toy Store and other stores where you live. And yeah, that's all I had to say. Either way, that was pretty much it. And while the quality control can be a bit of a problem for some people, for me it wasn't a deal breaker. It was pretty easy to fix. But if you are not a professional, leave this to an adult or some other professionals to literally fix it for you. But if you do know how to fix it, then go ahead and actually do it. If not, then just leave it as it is, because I do not want to be held responsible for people for toy breakages, because I'm not that kind of person. And as always, if you like what you see, then make sure to leave a like, and of course, if you want to support the channel even further to make it grow exponentially, why not subscribe as well? It would be muchly appreciated if you do that. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell button when my next video is going to be released. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. As always, this is Timeless CyberKnight-Miky here, signing off, and as always, only time will tell when my next review is going to be released, or my next video is going to be.